Up in the frostbitten mountains, there's a village that's basically in a boss fight with an S-rank Fenrir, and they're getting absolutely farmed. These poor souls have spent their last dime hiring a top-tier adventurer squad to slay the beast. Enter Flaming Dragon Fong, a party of absolute chads, each with their own OP abilities. Well, except for Kurt, who's currently cosplaying as a professional background character, hiding behind a wall to avoid getting smoked. The moment the Fenrir spawns in, its speed runs straight for Kurt, absolutely yeeting him across the battlefield like it's trying to get a world record in human frisbee. While Kurt is busy questioning his life choices, the rest of the squad locks in for combat. Gol Nova, their fearless leader, tells Bandana to immobilize the beast, so she whips out her wires and wraps up the Fenrir like it's a holiday gift. But Fenrir isn't having it, and absolutely slams her into a wall. Luckily, they've got a healer on deck, so she gets right back up, no cooldowns needed. This gives Gol Nova a golden opportunity. He leaps up, ignites his magic sword, and turns the Fenrir into a burning pile of regret. The villagers, still in broke mode, scrape together what they can to throw a party. But Gol Nova takes one bite of their food and nearly rage quits life. Instead, he demands that Kurt cook him a proper meal. Bandana chimes in, saying it's their last chance to enjoy Kurt's cooking, which makes Kurt pause. Why? Because nobody told him he was getting booted from the squad. Confused, Kurt asks if he did something wrong. Gol Nova gives him the corporate, "It's not you, it's us" speech, explaining that Kurt's main contribution is doing chores, and since parties are limited to 4 people, they're replacing him with an actual combat mage. Kurt tries to plead his case, but Gol Nova gives him a swift kick to the gut and tells him to take the L. The next day, Kurt is out, solo queuing life with 0 coins and no plan. He eventually stumbles into Somala City, down to his last few bucks, and figures he might as well try his luck at a job agency. The receptionist, Kerschel, greets him and asks if he's hiring or job hunting. Kurt explains that he got kicked from his S-rank party, which makes her do a double take. Even if he was just their glorified maid, that party name on his resume is still clout. She reassures him that this boosts his chances of employment, and Kurt feels a bit of hope again. Now it's time for the aptitude test. In this world, people get blessed with talents ranked from G tier, straight up useless, to triple S tier, broken OP. If Kurt's lucky, he might finally unlock his main character potential. Spoiler, he's not lucky. Every combat skill on his sheet is ranked G tier. Man can barely hold a sword without looking like he's about to drop it on his own foot. His battle dreams shatter instantly. Kerschel tells him not to lose hope. Maybe he's got talent in a trade like blacksmithing or alchemy. Problem is, the guy who tests for those skills is out for the week. Kurt panics. Bro doesn't have a week. He's broke now. Seeing his desperation, Kerschel asks him to lift a sandbag to test his physical strength. As soon as he touches it, he gets a weird feeling, like it just drained a bit of his mana. Still, he lifts it with no issue. Kerschel figures he's strong enough for construction work and suggests he head to Take-On, where they're hiring workers to repair city walls. She even writes him a recommendation. Kurt, grateful as heck, doesn't waste any time. He rolls up to the construction site, and the manager, who's desperate for workers, hires him on the spot. His job? Mix cement and patch up the walls. His pay? Depends on how much he gets done. The manager warns him that if he slacks, he's getting paid in exposure. Kurt notices nobody mentions mana infusion, which is weird because it makes structures way sturdier. But he figures it's one of those unspoken rules and just rolls with it. Then he hears that the daily quota is just half a barrel of cement, and he's like, that's it? Determined to flex, he goes all out. When the manager comes back, he nearly has a heart attack. Kurt has casually rebuilt an entire section of the wall. He even apologizes, saying he could have done more, but he ran out of cement. Manager, Yexi has stopped working. Realizing Kurt is a walking cheat code, the manager asks how long he plans to stay. Kurt says he only needs the job for a week. The manager, low-key relieved, tells him to take the rest of the day off and hands him a small bag of money. Even that small payout is more than Kurt ever made with his old party. For the next few days, Kurt keeps rebuilding walls at Godspeed, until one day, the manager tells him he's fired. Kurt is confused until the manager explains that this job was meant to help poor people earn money. But since Kurt is one-man army and G the entire project, there's no work left for anyone else. Kurt completely misreads the situation and assumes he got canned for being a bad worker. So he sulks back to the job agency, where Kerschel is low-key worried about him. While they're talking, they hear a commotion. A girl is trying to hire a miner but refuses to pay up front, so no one's taking the job. Kerschel tells her straight up that nobody would be dumb enough to work under those conditions. But the girl is desperate. If she doesn't pay her taxes by the end of the week, she's losing her mind. Kurt, still in job hunting mode, steps up and volunteers. The girl, Yalisha, side-eyes him, saying she was hoping for a buff dwarf, not a twig. But since she's broke, she begrudgingly agrees. They head to her campsite, where Kurt realizes there's only one tent. Yalisha casually suggests they share, but Kurt nopes out, saying he wouldn't be able to sleep next to a cute girl. Yalisha, thinking he's just trying to butter her up, gets annoyed. But when she realizes he was being 100% serious, she hands him a boiled potato for dinner. Kurt, who hasn't had a meal prepared for him in forever, appreciates it more than he probably should. That night, Yalisha intentionally goes to bed in her underwear to see if Kurt is a creep. But when he immediately dips outside to sleep under a tree, she realizes he's actually a decent dude. The next morning, she spots Kurt fixing her jacket and starts wondering if he's really built for mining. But it's too late to back out now. When Kurt asks where she planned to dig, she admits she was just gonna dig at random and hope for the best. Kurt facepalms. He then casually finds a rock full of gems in 5 minutes. Yalisha is shook. If she sells these, she can finally pay off her debt. But Kurt stops her. Raw gems are worth less than magic crystals. Problem: only 10 people in the entire kingdom can make magic crystals. Kurt, without a word, casually makes one in front of her. Yalisha has stopped working. She takes the crystals to sell and gets 500 gold, which is insane money. Meanwhile, Kerschel gets a bank transfer of Kurt's wages, 200 gold, way more than expected. As she processes this, she trips over the mana sandbags, which triggers a realization. Those bags only get heavier if you have ridiculous mana reserves. Kurt had struggled to move them earlier. Kurt might just be cracked beyond belief. Things kick off with the flaming dragon fangs getting absolutely cooked by some jumbo-sized forest gremlin. Galnova's already taking LS and begging for a heal, but Marlefus is fresh out of juice. He's barely holding the line against an angry sentient tree when the squad starts arguing about who's got fire magic. Plot twist: the new kid apparently does, but is now playing dumb. Bandana, lurking outside the mess, mentally hits the "I'm out" button. Meanwhile, Kurt gets hit with a surprise job offer that sounds mad fancy. Head honcho of the Royal Magic Tech Lab, noble perks included. Elisha casually drops that the crystal evaluator she brought in is literally a royal mage on the side. Kurt knows it's a big deal gig but hard passes, since he's not vibing with a job that puts him above others. Plus, he's got a soft spot for the fangs, even if they're falling apart. He shifts the convo back to the crystal sale, wondering if it covered taxes. Elisha finessed a good deal, skimmed a bit off the top for fees, and dumped the rest into his account. Kurt says she didn't have to, but she claims she'd feel bad otherwise. Either way, she's already planning her next mining op and expects Kurt to be her ride or die. Kurt's hyped, especially since he just found a promising mineral vein. Boss lady side-eyes him for not sleeping enough, but plot twist: he got a whole 6 hours and even built a house before passing out. Kurt, thinking she's mad he overslept, vows to grind harder to make up for it. Later, Kurt shows Elisha a new mining spot. She's not seeing the hype until he explains it's all about mountain structure. Textbook Minecraft logic. He warns her not to dig deeper than 50 meters since he plans to tunnel around a crystal-rich zone. Hours fly by, and Elisha hits pay dirt with a topaz that's worth solid coin, especially since Kurt will magic enhance it for free. She feels a little spark for her miner boy, but buries the thought fast. Following the tunnel trail, she stumbles upon a full-on mineshaft Kurt whipped up like it's light work. No lanterns needed thanks to glowing moss, and the tunnel's so big it makes her question physics. Kurt rolls up, bummed he mostly found junk. Turns out, the junk is straight-up mithril, which he says is so common back home it's used as yard trash. Alicia's jaw hits bedrock when he drops that bomb. When asked what he was looking for, Kurt casually drops orichalcum, the mythical metal of gods. And yeah, apparently that's a thing in this mountain. The catch? You gotta dig stupid deep. Elisha realizes the dude mined halfway to the Earth's core in 8 hours, patched the hole, and casually moved on. Tunnels so massive it links cities. 2 days later, they're back in Samala, and Elisha starts charging merchant tolls to cover taxes. Big W. Out of nowhere, Bandana shows up and says she rage quit the fangs. Flashback time. Galnova dined and dashed cause he hated the food, asked for some of Kurt's smoked meat, and found out the squad leader already gobbled it. He straight up sent Bandana to drag Kurt back, even said roughing him up was fine if he refused to cook. Bandana, not having it, swiped the teleport crystal and dipped. After dodging some guards hunting Galnova, Bandana reflects that Marlefus got lucky with a church call-up, and the squad's basically in shambles. She shrugs it off and pretends she just got dismissed, not wanting Kurt dragged into the dumpster fire. Kurt feels bad he can't help them now. Galnova did give him his start. Switching gears, Bandana plugs him into a new gig. She knows someone at a workshop who's low-key in crisis. There are only 15 elite 8-leer meisters in the country, basically high-status engineers who cook up magic gear and medicine, and one of them is apparently in deep trouble. Kurt agrees to help, humbled to be considered useful. He zooms over and finds a normal-looking house marked, "Eat Liar Ophelia." A suspiciously young elf girl greets him, but turns out she's just the assistant. Kurt's here on Bandana's wreck, so she yanks him inside like it's an emergency. First task? Kitchen cleanup. The smell is apocalyptic, but he goes beast mode, throws on an apron, and nukes the grime in 30 minutes flat. Trying to find what's next, he tracks down the assistant. When he finally locates the next room, things go weird. He walks in on a girl wearing practically nothing. He's flustered, but notices a curse mark on her stomach. She lets him examine it, and he realizes she's so far gone from the curse, she can't even feel it anymore. Her stomach growls like a boss battle warning, so he whips up something light. Back in the kitchen, he faceplants over a stool, cause he's still flustered from the whole accidental nudity moment. Meanwhile, Alicia is wheeling and dealing with her royal friend Mimiko. Mimiko drops a bomb. The mithril and orichalcum haul is worth 50,000 gold. But there's a catch. If people find out Kurt exists, there's a high chance he gets kidnapped or worse. The kid's a walking gold mine and somehow still flying under the radar. Alicia admits she wants to keep him grounded by making him an Eat-Liar Meister. Better to put a leash on a wild card than let him go rogue. She even wants to work as his bodyguard, but has no clue how to get him to say yes. Kurt's still blissfully unaware of how cracked he actually is. Meanwhile, Kurt finishes the food just as Ophelia, the actual boss, rolls in. She's shocked by how spotless the kitchen is. He explains he made food for the cursed girl, and Ophelia gives him hush money to keep it quiet and asks him to return tomorrow. Once Kurt bounces, Ophelia regrets letting anyone near the girl, worried the curse could spread or worsen. She brings her the food, tells her not to open the curtains, and tries to fix her janky pajamas. When the girl's stomach growls again, Ophelia checks the food for poison. The girl, completely over it, says she'd be fine even if it was poisoned. The curse already wrecked her. Nothing else can really top that. Still, she trusts the food because she somehow senses Kurt's good vibes. First spoonful in, and she's emotionally wrecked by how good it tastes. Just as Ophelia starts relaxing, the girl collapses, making it look like the porridge was a death sentence. Ophelia freaks out, ready to commit murder in Kurt's name. But plot twist, the girl gets up. Not only is she fine, the curse is gone. Somewhere in a shadowy room, a robed dude is big mad the curse got yeeted. His boss tells him to forget trying again. Plan B is on deck. Lady Lislate will die, one way or another. Back at Mimiko's place, Ophelia drops in, and Alicia is there too. Turns out, the cursed girl is actually Lislate, the third princess, daughter of the king and an Eastern empress. Her whole existence is diplomatic peace treaty incarnate. The curse? Likely a political hit job. Now that it's broken, Alicia and Mimiko are shook. Mimiko pledges full loyalty, swearing she'd help uncover whoever cast it. Meanwhile, Lise is just grateful Kurt saved her, leaving everyone reeling at how low-key, overpowered this kid really is. Check out these videos on screen, and subscribe for more.